I love doing things like this snow you can see here. I really love putting non-pixelated particles into a pixelated game. So if I go to the scene view, here's a big one. So you can see here that it is pixelated, but it's not the same pixel scale as everything else. But then we go back to the game, we can see that it is. So I really love the way that when you put things that are not the same scale inside but then force it to the same resolution, you get this really interesting pixelated effect. Like that. Yeah, look at that. That's the stuff right there. So the idea with this level is we have to jump out of the tongue to get up onto the platform before we reach the side, because if we reach the side, we'll just fall down. Okay, so this is what normally happens with these sticky sides, is you would pull yourself in and you'd just be able to stick. And you've got forever, you can just wait until the timing is right to jump off. Now that we know what it normally looks like, we can see that this is quite different. So the way we get up here is we just have to jump out of the tongue before we reach the level. And that's really what this zone is teaching the player, is that you don't have to get to the wall and attach on before you can do a wall jump. You can do that jump maneuver at any point after the tongue has attached. So I could try and time it so that I jump almost as soon as the tongue hits. And that's how we would get up to this platform. So we start off with just a fairly low risk jump onto this one. If we fall, we just fall down to here. We can essentially just jump up from there again. And then we go slightly harder jump. And then down here we have that same snow, but on an obstacle. So to get over this, we need to jump out at the right time. Oh, I've messed that one up. We avoid this obstacle here. Let's see if I can get it. Nope. I am really messing this up. There we go. And I think I might make this one a little bit easier, to be honest. I don't think that it's necessarily fair to introduce both the jumping over the obstacle at the same time as requiring a spin out of it to get to the platform. Actually, let's do that together. Okay, so to do that, we're going to go down to level piece Yak 2, open that up and have a look in the scene view. And so here we are. So what we've got here is this is the platform that you need to land on. So I'm just going to, first up, I'll get rid of, where are the sides? There's one, we'll get rid of that. Yep, that's gone. And now we can open the tile palette and select the ground layer, because either on the ground layer, we'll just control click to get the right tile. And we can draw this in a bit lower, like that. And we'll put it on the other side as well, so that players don't have to jump over if they don't want to. Just align it nicely. That's not nice. That's better. Now one of the problems with this one is that's right where you want to be jumping. I might just move it back just a little. And I might also just pull the size of this collider in a bit. 2.5 is probably enough. I'm going to come back and change this a little bit because this is going to cause some people some frustration, but it'll be good enough for demonstration purposes. Oh, this is actually a good example. So this is the dynamic UI that I have. So if I use my controller, it'll change the internal setting to Xbox controller settings. And when I hover over this, it'll show the A button as the interactable. If I use my keyboard, and when I go across this, it'll show Z as the interactable button, because Z is the jump button for keyboard. Just an aside, I just thought I'd point that out. So we can see at the end of this gauntlet of vines and platforms is me. I decided I would put myself in because that was the least risky option. So if you get to the end of this, I'm going to see if I can do it. I might have to speed this up. Give me, just give me a moment. There we go. So welcome back. If I muted it, then ignore the fact that it went to a Z. I definitely did that all with the Xbox controller. So we get to the end of this. The NPC at the end will have a little bit of dialogue. This one, for the previous, a little bit self-aware. And at the end of that, he's going to give you a gem. It's not particularly ceremonious. I eventually want to have it so that the gem will appear above you and just slowly descend until you collect it while you're still doing the dialogue. I think it's much nicer. But for now you're just going to go collect it yourself. And then you can talk to the NPC again, and they will send you back to the start of the room. And so now the question I have for you is, I need NPCs to fill those rooms. And so if I were to offer as something like a Kickstarter incentive, your character in the game, so you would get a pixel art version of your OC in the same pose that all of the other NPCs are. You would get a collection of portraits that are used in the dialogue, and then maybe you can let me know what kind of thing you want your OC to talk about in that little bit of dialogue before they give off the ruby. So that's something I'm considering at the moment. So leave a comment below if that's something that you would be interested in. Or, like I said, there's going to be a link to my Discord server. This is another one of those rooms. So over here is where, so you would enter from here. You would come across over to here. So you can imagine your OC just stand here, waiting to have a chat with Spike and give him a collectible. And so yeah, so that's Devlog 1 for Spike Arrow. If you have anything that you want me to talk about more, again, leave a comment. If you have any suggestions or just want to talk more, jump into my Discord server. The link will be in the description. Also, this type of video is fairly new for this channel, so leave a comment below telling me if this is something you'd like to see more of. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Oh, fucking yeah.
And let's
Twisted,
go, ladies
who
and...
even the hell?
I am Twistic, and I'm... right now.
So we have the porn stars, aka Gen Xers. So porn stars are sort of just like, basically have no soul. I'm just gonna say it. Like, not as in like they are evil, but as in like they have no like will or passion, like they don't know like what emotion is. And then you have our closest ally, but one that I don't think any of us are necessarily 100% comfortable with, and that's the Mills. The Mills.
The fucking Mills.
It's such a mixed bag,
cringe,
right?
Bro.
It's such a mixed bag. Listen.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Stable Condition. I'm Do the Daring Dude. We're joined with everybody else. We've got two very special guests with us.
Hi.
Hi. Is it weird that we're over here? You have to keep rotating? So we move over there?
I don't care. I'll do it.
When I say we enjoy swinging in these chairs, it's like, I really want him to be like, Mr. Larson, welcome.
You should have a question like that.
What was that?
I'm glad you asked.
Okay, can you
Alright.
please?
Is this like the voice? We're just like.
Okay, we need
the voice.
Go over there.
Okay.
The camera
And
over
then
there.
they turn around.
Well, that's the thing. See, and then I rotate it, and then it's...
No. We need a question for Larson so I can turn around and do this. Oh, I'm glad you asked. Hold on, let me think. I'm blanking. I had a question.
Mr. Larson, what did you think about season 7?
Season 7, you say? Glad you asked.
That's good.
Season
Takes
7.
it every time.
Season 7 is a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah.
I've heard of season 7.
I got stories.
Actually, I do have a serious question.
Do you?
Yes, I do. Believe it or not. Yes. Okay, definitely get this one.
Okay.
Okay, so what? I'm sure that like you've pitched a lot. Of, no, turn over to him. Over to him. There's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of ideas that you pitch for episodes and stuff, but not everything is able to make it through in a lot. What's an example of an episode that you wanted to do but got the thumbs down?
I'm glad you asked. So,
I know the answer.
I mean, I have one that I feel like I've said it 1,000
You just said it
times.
10 minutes
I just
ago.
said it in the panel just now.
Oh, we weren't there.
Oh, you weren't there?
Yeah.
I might know what it is, but let's see.
It's your stock answer for this.
I know, but do I have a different one?
I don't know.
What's the one you're thinking of?
It's called Philadelphia Ragtime.
Go on.
Back in season 5 with the map episodes.
Yes.
Applejack and Rarity get called to Philadelphia. It'd be the first time we'd go to that town.
Mm-hmm.
Although, sorry to interrupt, Philadelphia is what Ponyville was supposed to be originally.
Oh, that's
That's a little factoid. That's like a pop-up video thing for you. Anyway,
Little
go on.
tidbit there.
Can we?
Do it again.
Oh, yeah, do it.
Did you know?
Can we get her to a wink so we can edit like a?
Turn around this guy.
Alright, anyways, so they go to Philadelphia.
And they're like, why are we here? Why do we get called here? And they notice a big crowd, and they go and check out the crowd. And Flim has just been elected mayor of Philadelphia.
No way.
Oh God.
And he's saying, as my first order of business as mayor, I'm outlawing cider in Philadelphia. So Applejack becomes a bootlegger and has to bring cider into the city. And Rarity, meanwhile, is like in the corridors of power trying to pretend she's in love with Flam, who's the chief of staff, so she can get information. And it was too adult.
Aww.
That's still amazing.
That sounds fantastic.
I had another one I really liked that didn't get past the premise stage.
Whoa, what's this? Something new?
This might be the one I've heard. This might be the one I've heard in passing. Go
I
ahead.
don't think so. I don't think I've ever said this.
Oh shoot.
In fact, I'm gonna have to remember the episode as I'm saying it, but it was.
It needs to be
season
about
5 premise.
20% cooler.
We're trying to think of ideas of what to do with Twilight as princess with her castle and all that stuff. And I wanted to do an episode where she needed a guard, like a royal guard.
Mm-hmm.
And Big Macintosh, his whole life that was his dream, was to be a royal guard. But he was too shy to ever try it. But now that his friend needs a guard, so he goes in and tries out, and Twilight hires him, and he's really bad at it. And then she feels like, what do I do? I
Oh,
can't
that
fire
awkward
him.
thing when you hire a friend and
Yes.
then they
I can't
my
fire him
gosh.
because Applejack's.
That would have been a really good episode to do.
Yeah, I thought so too. But
Why
I don't think little girls hire friends.
yeah,
Why did it get the thumbs
Well, maybe
down?
not.
I can't remember. I think they were thrown by like, why have we never heard that this was his lifelong dream? And
but that's the thing, right? Because that's what I was saying to you earlier about in Fluttershy Leans In that everyone was so mad at me because they'd never heard about her dream to have a sanctuary before. But
It makes sense.
sometimes you
Well,
can't do that where you
yeah,
like pepper it into the entire series. It
But
just,
not only that, the dream is something that's usually kept personal.
yeah, and Big Mac especially.
well, right,
Yeah.
she's shy. Of course, she would
Yeah.
keep that close to her.
Fluttershy
heart.
and Big Mac are the two characters
Yeah.
who it's easiest to have. Like,
Yeah, Pinkie
a sequel
Pie
like
would
that.
like be like, oh, my dream is everything,
Yeah.
and then everyone would be like, yeah, well, we know because you
say
never
it all the
stop
time.
talking.
Yeah.
Improvement done.
Yeah.
By the way, real quick, Larson, I want to thank you for Magical Mystery Cure because I hate on it just to piss him off.
For the longest time, that was my favorite episode in the whole show. I absolutely loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he told me that you guys write out the lyrics for a song, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
necessarily
you have a bit of training in like
No.
just like Daniel
I
here.
have the
No,
first
no.
draft of lyrics.
You know who told me that
It's not
though?
necessarily the
You know who actually told me that though?
final song.
Natasha Levenger told me that. It's like all this time I thought Daniel wrote the lyrics.
He does now. In the earlier seasons, we did write all the lyrics, like Flim Flam Brothers song.
I would say it's like not all Daniel though. It's like a combo.
It's a combo.
Fascinating.
The Flim Flam Brothers song, I wrote all the lyrics to that.
Okay.
All the lyrics, except for
Except for all the ones you didn't like.
there's a point in that song where he's saying the unbelievable, unimpeachable, something.
Inconceivable.
I can't believable. And I was so mad at myself. Like, I can't believe I did unbelievable and I can't believable. That's wrong. Like that.
Oh yeah,
You
that
shouldn't
annoys
have
me.
those words like that. So I actually was so annoyed that I went back at the script
Oh,
and
yeah.
I didn't have that in there.
Oh.
Daniel changed that.
Oh wow.
Unbelievable was something else. I can't remember.
So
what it
you
was.
can't believable it? That
Hey!
that was not a good joke, you guys.
So, the one I was actually
I've been around these guys. It's the best joke I've ever heard.
the
Yeah.
question, the earlier question about rejected episode ideas. The one I was thinking of. Didn't you have one where Celestia and Luna had to do an exorcism?
Yeah, I mean that was
What?
that was more a joke. That was never. That was
Uh-huh.
an actual.
I still thought it was
Pinkie
hysterical.
Pie was possessed.
Have you been writing fan fiction?
This is like one of my first tweets actually.
Oh my gosh.
So, and it was Pinkie Pie is possessed and they have to give her an exorcism, and instead of like spewing pea soup, it's frosting.
That's appropriate.
Does she do the whole head rotating
It's like
360?
yeah.
Oh my god.
So that was never, I never
I mean,
actually
that's
pitched
kinda
that.
Okay, okay.
That would have been amazing if you.
I'd still watch it.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's funny.
Oh my god.
That was one of the very first things I tweeted was that.
Again, that's probably where I saw it.
And I know you've already talked about this. I think it was at BronyCan, the recent episode that you've written for season 7 and all of that. And I just want to tell you, even though it wasn't what you originally had pitched, I still thoroughly enjoyed that episode.
It's one of my
Though we
favorites.
had
of
a
season
lot
7.
of people just say, "Oh, this is making the fandom look bad." It's like, no, let the writers have fun.
I'm happy to hear that.
It's like,
It wasn't my premise.
yeah,
Right.
but still,
right.
I think what they did with it, I thoroughly enjoyed.
Good.
So thank you for the praise.
There's parts of it that I love that I think are really successful,
Mhm.
and then there's it's basically the ending that really bothers me. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand why nobody learns a lesson, and it really bothers me to have the background ponies be jerks.
Mm.
You know, I don't understand why we would want to do that after 7 seasons of falling in love with them, to have them just be jackasses for half an hour.
Pretty
And
much.
so I try to pitch a different version where they learn a lesson at the end, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I lost my head, and you know, I didn't mean to be such a jerk. But you know,
Why were they?
Yeah.
people above me didn't want to do that, so it ended up just being that. And
Did they ever say why?
I don't think they really have to give him an explanation.
that's what was approved.
Yeah.
Fair. Let me see.
The higher ups always have final say.
Yeah.
I learned that a long time ago.
Actually, I got one for GM over here. There you go. So, what was it like writing your first episode on the show, the one where Pinkie Pie knows?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
It totally works.
It does.
It was pretty cool to actually get to write something that I knew everyone would consider canon. Even though I'd written like a lot of things before that.
I love your Daring Do books.
Well, thank you.
I actually just recently bought the treasure chest set.
Oh yeah, it's really cool, right?
Oh yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, it is.
I was like weirdly proud that it cost like $50. I was like, I have something that costs $50.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it was really neat. I had fun making Pinkie totally not so, which is like her greatest state. We even had to like reel it in a little bit because she's crazy. But that's why I love her. And it was just cool to like finally transition into doing that because I had wanted to do it for so long.
After writing all those books.
Yeah, I mean, when I always looked at writing the books as like writing episodes of the show, that's how I always tried to structure it. I did 3-act structure with a teaser and all that, but I would do it in prose. So
Right.
I felt like I had been practicing pony dialogue for years, so it was cool to, actually have somebody, like the actors say it, and
This,
yeah,
I guess
felt
this,
legitimate.
I guess this applies to both of you. Do you have a favorite episode that you've written?
I do, but it's not out yet.
Ooh.
Oh.
About it.
Ooh,
Tell
good.
them what it is. What
Well,
are they going to do?
it's called. No. No, I know. Yeah, what are they going to do?
It's called NDA disclosure.
I mean, I would love to tell you all about it because I like it a lot.
Can you tell the title?
It would give too much away.
Can you say it's
Aw.
next season?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
I'm pretty sure it's next
It's in
season.
the-
Just making sure.
It's in the first 6 episodes of next season.
Who's it about?
Ooh.
I don't know that I can say. Well, the main
Who's it
the
not
main
about?
6 pony in it is Rainbow Dash,
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
but with some unexpected other characters.
I'm fine with
Okay,
this.
at least promise me rarities in it.
I can't promise you anything.
Damn.
Oh.
I could try though.
And you?
I really like them all.
It needs to be about
Okay.
20% cooler.
Everything I
They're
write is
amazing.
gold.
They're just so well written.
Oh, who wrote those? Oh yeah, it was.
Show said her favorite episode was one that he'd written.
Uh,
Like, what's stroking your ego? Never mind, take that
my
back.
favorites are the Return of Harmony.
Oh yeah.
It's just awesome, and I was so excited to be assigned the 2-parter because I didn't know Lauren that well, and I was kind of new, and
Like I say,
She's
you're
so
the one that
cool.
wrote Return Harmony.
I want to do
That's
two
one of my
part
favorite
one.
season openings. That's another reason why I love season 2 so much.
It needs to be about 20% cooler. This atmosphere to it that I didn't really remember.
Yeah.
That is so cool. It's really.
Why'd you watch it? You were like at home bored one day and you were like,
No.
you know what?
I was.
Netflix.
I'm gonna watch Return to Harmony and
What am I gonna watch?
Well, it's cool that you guys will go back and watch your own work. That's cool.
yeah.
needs to
be about 20%
It is fun to watch it like a year and a half after you
Yeah.
wrote it when it airs and you're like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I was saying
Yeah.
once in a while there'll be something really funny and I'm like, dang, I'm funny.
Yes.
What I'm
And
saying is
then,
like a line you don't remember, like that's clever.
No, but sometimes there'll be something really funny and it's like an animation joke and I'm like, I'm great. And then I'll look at the script and I'm like, I didn't do that. But like a lot of times I'm really funny.
Yeah.
The comedian has to outright come out and say, I'm funny.
You know?
Laugh at my jokes.
Well, if I don't laugh at it, you know, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Can't laugh at yourself, then what's the point of living?
Well then.
So
Well, you
saying
really
that.
brought it down there.
Start trying to
Going philosophical over here.
I think I
Yeah,
need
we
to
sort
go,
of-
yeah.
The guy I'm playing right now is dead, so.
Oh my.
Should we turn around again?
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
perfect synchronization this time.
Oh
They got
god.
pretty close last time.
Do
Anyways,
you have another question?
Yeah,
Oh,
then
okay,
it's
okay.
rushed at the
Question.
same time.
doesn't work.
Let's see.
I can't think of one right now.
I actually do have an interesting question. I asked Amy Keaton Rogers this a while ago, but I want to ask what? No laugh.
Sorry.
I can now say that Gene Barrow laughed at me. So, what exactly what is like the first idea that gets an idea for an episode start? Like, is it the overall moral of an episode just kind of build around that, or is it different?
We're glad you asked.
We're glad you asked.
It never gets old.
If we do it 7 times, it'll be funny again.
Well, yeah, according to science, you guys weren't in the panel, but Nick Conflone has discovered the perfect amount of times to make something funny.
Nick Conflone's thesis paper at Princeton
Yeah,
was a scientific statistical analysis.
on Sideshow Bob sipping on a rake.
How many times? You do a joke over and over again, and it's really funny, and then it starts to not be funny, but then it starts to be funny again.
Yeah, I
He
believe
figured out exactly.
3 was funny.
Yeah.
It dips after that and becomes even funnier at number 7.
Interesting.
Science.
Science. Wait, what was the question?
It was about where do they come from.
Yeah, basically like.
I feel like the moral is generally one of the last things to come, or it comes out of breaking the story down.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's not necessarily where you start. Not always. I'm sure there are some that started with a moral.
Most of them know though.
Yeah, most of them know.
Or like sometimes it'll be like a vague concept, like you know that thing when you have a friend and this happens, like
Yeah.
like the thing you're saying.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like oh, if you hire a friend and then they were really bad at it, you know, it might come from something like that.
I just figured that was kind of like the general idea, like, ooh, let's do an episode about that.
Yeah, but I would say most of the time they're more like specific
Yeah.
than that. Like I want to pair up these 2 characters, and then they
Yeah,
get
exactly.
weird.
It's
and you're
who
like,
can you pair up
okay,
with, what
so
funny
what
thing
are they
can happen.
doing? What
That's
are they
fair.
like? Why?
I like looking for seams in the characters where it's like, oh, Pinkie Pie, whatever it is, Pinkie Pie does this. Why? We've never.
Yeah.
Just some little thing that somebody else has written into the show.
Mm-hmm. I like that too.
Interesting.
I tried to expand on Nick Conflone's quesadillas thing with
Mm.
Twilight. And when they do it, they were like, "Oh, this is too weird." I'm like, "But it was in the show."
Yeah.
But that's exactly the kind of thing. Like, what's the story with that? Where does that come
Well, it was like, I don't want to I can't tell you what it is because it's coming out and I'm gonna get in trouble. But
No.
she was supposed to be like afraid of something, and I was like, she already said
Yeah.
she was afraid of quesadillas. We
Yeah.
should talk about that, and they were
Right.
like, nope.
Aw.
So,
Cheesy.
yeah, I mean, yeah, so maybe they just didn't want to expand on that joke.
Yeah. It's unfortunate we have to wrap up because Steve gave us a little.
No, tour de-
Well, it was really fun, you guys.
Oh, this was great.
Hey, thank you very much for your time.
Goodbye.
We're off. And that's
Thanks for having us.
the chairs just slowly just start flying up.
Yeah.
Do we stay in here or do we go somewhere else? Do you guys stay in here? Or do
Oh, no,
we-
I think, yeah, we're
Yeah,
going.
we just got
Get
pulled.
out of here. We got these
So
chairs.
yes, thank you guys very much. One more time for M.A. Larson and Gia
Thank you
Barrow.
guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys.
We'll see you next time.
Oh, we gotta do it again. We had the lens cap on.
Discord. Ever since he made his first appearance in the Season 2 premiere, Discord has been the subject of so much speculation. He's just this giant mystery begging to be solved. What is he? How did he come to be? And if there's one thing that's consistent through all these theories made about him, it's that we don't really know. Well, unless they get disproven, like the good old Star Swirl equals Discord theory. You know, the one where Star Swirl the Bearded accidentally turned himself into Discord. For longtime viewers, you know I defended this theory till the bitter end. I would have loved for Discord to be the result of some magic experiment gone wrong, but perhaps he still might be. What if Star Swirl didn't become Discord, but rather created Discord, like Frankenstein's monster? A talented sorcerer such as himself is bound to have made some mistakes. There's an obvious appeal to this theory. It also fits in nicely with my headcanon that Star Swirl invented the alicorn by combining magic from all 3 tribes. After the success of that, it only makes sense that he'd take it to the next logical step, combining magic from different species. Of course, this wouldn't have gone quite as well. Unlike the other theory, this one is still possible. But as fun as that idea is, it doesn't make much sense from a timeline perspective. Discord didn't enter the scene until the Royal Sisters, as well as the Tree of Harmony, were all fully grown. That's Discord's first known appearance in the timeline. Now, Star Swirl's last appearance in the timeline, before vanishing to Limbo, was when the Tree of Harmony had just been planted. We know the sisters were much shorter at the time too. So a lot of growing happened between Star Swirl's last appearance and Discord's first. That seems to disconnect Discord from Star Swirl altogether. You could say that Star Swirl created Discord before Limbo, but that asks more questions than it answers. If this is the case, where was Discord during the period between his creation and his conquering of Equestria? How did Star Swirl deal with it? Why didn't it last? Too many details unaccounted for just for him to have been the result of Star Swirl's experimentations. Discord's timeline before this point, if he has one, is completely unknown. So each detail we add before this is a new assumption. That's why I'm hesitant to subscribe to that theory. So let's talk about a new one, a fresh theory based on the most recent episodes that's been gaining some traction. This one poses that at the center of Discord's origin story is not Star Swirl the Bearded, but someone who may be just as old, if not older. And that person is Grogar. Though he seems to be all but forgotten by modern ponies, Grogar is infamous among the villains, Sombra revering him as the first emperor of Equestria, the father of monsters. Watching this episode, the next line that Grogar spoke blew my mind. I gave life to the foulest of creatures and allowed them to run wild, taking what they wanted and destroying the rest. My reign was a glorious, fear-soaked epoch of darkness in Equestria. As I heard those words, I could feel the excitement rising as the connection started forming in my head. When he's describing his reign of monsters, we see 3 distinct creatures become a single, horrifying amalgamation. Almost all the monsters we've seen in the show are combinations that can be split into their component parts and fused back together. The bugbear, chimera, cockatrice. What if these were the foul creatures that Grogar made, sewing together bits and pieces of previously existing animals into new, terrifying forms? And then it hit me like a load of bricks. What if one of those creatures was Discord? Everything was adding up, so I got ready to make a new video, scrambling together my thoughts. But then, I was running some ideas by local Draconicus expert Event Horizon when he said something like, "You saw Dr. Wolf's video too?" And that's when I realized that someone else beat me to the chase. But maybe I'd still have something to add to the theory, enough to warrant its own video? No, Dr. Wolf covered everything, and even took the concept further into really fascinating applications I hadn't thought of. I recommend watching it, but there goes that video idea. He couldn't have known, but I feel like that was revenge for the one time I impersonated him. So there I was, having just hit that brick wall, still wanting to add something to the conversation. This got me to dig deeper, but the more I searched, the more inconsistencies I found with the Grogar theory. I guess it wasn't true after all. It was then that I vowed that if I can't have this theory, then neither can Dr. Wolf. No, but seriously, I did want to challenge him with what I found, so I ran it by Dr. Wolf. First of all, without magic, the Tartarus monsters split into their base components. Discord had his magic taken away before, and yet he stayed in one piece. So if Grogar created monsters by stitching together parts of already existing creatures, Discord could not have been one of those. Then Dr. Wolf replied by pointing out that the Tartarus monsters gave their magic willingly, while Discord's was forcefully ripped out. His solution is that some magic can only be surrendered, not taken by force, likening it to the Espers in Final Fantasy III. But here's the thing, there's no in-show precedent for this principle, and even if there was, T-Rex willingly gave his magic, just like the other creatures, but he didn't split into a horse and a... into a horse and a... but he didn't split into any components. Nailed it. This tells us that a mix such as a centaur can already be a base form. I mean, just look at griffins or hippogriffs. This world is full of hybrids, and I doubt most of them would split into parts if stripped of their magic. Don't get me wrong, there's something to the fact that the Tartarus monsters did separate, and that may point to a special creation by Grogar. We just have no reason to lump Discord in with those. In fact, the evidence is for this already being Discord's base form. That's what I ran by Dr. Wolf next. When Discord stopped acting chaotic, his physical body started to literally fade away. This tells us that he's not an amalgamation of previously existing things. He's a single physical manifestation of chaos, depending only on chaos to exist. Like Fluttershy said, you're a creature of pure chaos. Being normal is destroying you. Dr. Wolf replied to this one by theorizing that the fading away may have been a failsafe set in place by Grogar. If the purpose of Grogar's monsters was to force submission by spreading terror and fear, he could motivate those monsters to keep doing their job under threat of fading away. His full responses can be found in the second part of his series on the matter. But this reply doesn't add up either, because Grogar's purpose didn't need chaos. You can spread fear and terror with chaos. Discord certainly did later, but you can just as well spread fear and terror with an iron fist of order. So if Grogar did set a failsafe in place, it would have kicked in when the monsters stopped spreading darkness, not when they stopped spreading chaos, and Discord would have faded away long ago once he reformed. Besides, we've seen that Discord doesn't even need a body to exist or even spread chaos. He just needs, well, chaos, which is undeniably his purest essence. Now, I have one last problem with the theory that Grogar created Discord. It's that it leaves a huge unexplained gap in Discord's timeline, just like the theory that Star Swirl created Discord, but even worse. To get a timeline going, we have our first confirmed instance of Discord. This came long enough after the Tree of Harmony was planted for it to have been full grown. Now using Tyrek as a reference, he must have come to Equestria when the pillars were still around, because his brother Scorpan befriended Star Swirl. Tyrek was already full grown at the time, so go all the way back to when he was young, and this is when he only heard tales of Grogar's tyranny. He even thought they were just legends, so the actual events may have occurred even before that. Regardless, Grogar's reign was long, long ago, and if Discord was part of that, where has he been? Where was he between then and his first known appearance? Was he dealt with in some way? Banished? Weakened? By who? For how long? This theory leaves so much to be desired for Discord's timeline. Again, as fun and full of story potential as those theories are, and full props to Dr. Wolf, I just don't find them convincing. But this video isn't just a list of all the ways Discord didn't come to be. Oh no, I have a few ideas myself. After talking with Dr. Wolf, I elected to set aside the Discord question for a while and focus on other aspects of the show. That resulted in this video, and it's a good thing, because a certain comment on that video helped me realize that surprisingly, these topics may be more closely connected than we thought. In the video, I was talking about how the Tree of Harmony was destroyed, and how the spirit of the Tree of Harmony used the Student 6 to build a replacement. Since the spirit can exist outside the tree or treehouse, I consider it its own thing. That's why I called it the Spirit of Harmony. And that's where that comment comes in. Spirit of Harmony and Spirit of Chaos. We got a yin-yang situation going on here. Now, at first I wrote this off as an amusing coincidence, that the show would have a spirit of harmony and a spirit of chaos. What are the odds of that? Pretty cool, right? But let's entertain the thought for a second. Basically, with yin and yang, opposites can't exist without each other. Heat can't exist without cold to compare it against, and cold can't exist without heat to compare it against. Opposites also give rise to each other. The darker a place is, the more power light has there. Now, let's see what happens when we start to view chaos and harmony as yin and yang, interdependent forces that are fundamentally connected. An increase on one side would be reflected onto the other side. Think about it like a balancing act. 6 ponies plant a seed that would become the most powerful source of harmony in the land. Discord necessarily arises as the chaotic reflection, the equal and opposite force. Look at the timing and things line up perfectly. This is the earliest known instance of the full-grown Tree of Harmony. And why are the sisters here? So that they can take the elements and fight the earliest known instance of Discord. Maybe the reason this is Discord's first known appearance is because this is the very beginning of Discord's timeline. His simple one-track mind and naivety makes him seem young. Like young. Maybe that's because the harmony from the tree had just pulled Discord into this world. Now, most of you have probably noticed that Discord didn't really bring balance though. He dragged the world into chaos and tipped the scales to his side. In fact, we haven't really seen much balance in the past at all. At first, this might seem like a problem with the theory, but it's all part of the story. The forces of harmony and of chaos have a history of fighting against one another and one-upping each other. The very first thing we saw Discord try to do is destroy the Tree of Harmony by planting seeds of his own. Nice parallel. But it's not just him. The forces of harmony have been trying to completely do away with chaos as well, banishing Discord to stone. Chaos versus harmony has been a huge theme in MLP history, but it goes back even further. Sure, it's possible Discord came as a result of the Tree of Harmony, but we know for a fact that even the tree itself was planted partially to counteract the unbridled chaos of the Everfree Forest. To take things another step back, I wouldn't be surprised if the Yin Everfree Forest started growing in the first place to counteract the harmony from the Yang Friendship Fire, which was to counteract the Yin Wendigos, and basically this has been going on forever. Now hold up. The whole point of Yin and Yang is that opposites aren't supposed to be at odds. They're supposed to complement each other. Order without some chaos is dull, and chaos without some order is cacophony. Think about when something crazy messes up your schedule. It makes you appreciate the routine. But too much of that boring routine makes you appreciate the spontaneous. They need to cooperate,
It needs
not
to be about
dominate.
20% cooler.
And that is why Celestia asked the main six to free Discord and try to reform him. She must have realized that chaos doesn't mean evil. Anyone who's played Dungeons and Dragons knows that they're on different axes. And if you can get both opposites to coexist on the side of good, everyone will be happier and stronger because of it. That's what the past 5 seasons have been. The forces of chaos and of harmony on the same team, after an endless seesaw back and forth. Finally, balance. I really like this theory of Discord's origin and purpose, not just because it matches his timeline, but because it tells a bigger story. Connecting parts of the lore we never considered might be related. And Discord is the best way to ultimately bring a conclusion to this.
It
A
needs to be
force
about
of chaos
20%
that
cooler.
understands a little harmony is important, who can see where chaos is needed and where it's not. For the most part. It's not to say tensions won't exist as both sides grow and evolve. In fact, watching Discord and the Spirit of Harmony interact would be a lot of fun. All that really matters is that they're finally allowing each other to do their jobs. But what do you guys think? Are chaos and harmony fundamentally connected? How do you think Discord came to be? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We're halfway through the 9th and final season of Friendship is Magic, so we're
It needs
either
to
gonna
be
get our
about
answers
20%
soon
cooler.
or never. Hopefully the former, but in the meantime, I'll be reading your comments. This has been the Brony Notion, signing out until next time. Brohoof.